Hello, everyone. Welcome to Oracle Analytics Live for August 2022. You might notice things are a little different this time around. We are hosting now on Cloud Customer Connect. So please let us know your name and what country you're coming from in the chat. Again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A section. This is our safe harbor statement. I will give you a second to take a look at that. My name is Alex Toothman. I'm a product manager, part of the product strategy team here, and I will be hosting this session today. This is on Oracle Analytics. So if you are new here, welcome. And if you're returning, we're glad to have you back. Oracle Analytics, what is it? It's an augmented analytics cloud platform. You have the ability to do data preparation, data flow, data modeling. There's data visualization. There's auto ML and automated insights. It's embedded with AI. You can do automated forecasting. It has natural language query, natural language processing, natural language generation. There is a mobile version for you. It's self-upgrading, self-patching, and self-securing. We'll see some of this today that I mentioned in some of our demos and talk about it further. So let's get into it. Here's a quick look at the agenda. We're going to have some announcements, some updates, talk about some live labs, what that's about, lots of demos as usual. And of course, at the end, we'll be answering your questions. So let's pass this over to Ben.
Perfect. Thanks, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben. I'm Senior Director of Product Strategy for Oracle Analytics. And I'm going to show you in the next slide our community. So we have a lot of Oracle Analytics leaders. We have thousands and thousands of customers, but they are the top innovating one from Delta Airline, HSBC, Vanguard, and others. So thank you if you are joining today to watch the webinar, and thank you if you are an Oracle Analytics leader. In the next slide, I'm going to show you really quickly what's coming, probably in the next version. So you will have a new list filter, better UX. So you will see the new UX that you have here at the top of the screen. I will show you a quick demo. A small filter bar. A lot of you told us that the filter bar was too big. Now it's going to be smaller. Customized text when you have no data. So if a query is returning no data for a visualization, you will be able to put a specific text. New tile, new feature in About. So when you will click on your profile picture on About, every 2 months, you will have a new release and the new set of features. So this slide will be available inside Oracle Analytics. From the product, you will know exactly what are the new features. New connector icon, it was requested by a lot of customers. And finally, the REST connector preview. So you will be able to connect to different public websites, REST API, and you will be able to ingest data from this website directly in Oracle. So again, it was a big request from all of you. So we are going to deliver that. On the next slide, I'm going to show you the new filter experience. So at the left, you can see the current filter experience, big filter bar, big filter, not a lot of options. It's very big. We are now transitioning to a small filter bar. It's going to be smaller. You will have more space. And finally, a better filter where you can search, list, go to top, bottom, exclude, check the nulls, add everything. So it will be a little bit easier to view all your filters directly in Oracle Analytics. In the next slide, you are going to see also that inside Oracle Analytics, if you are an administrator, you can go to the system setting, and now you have a new preview section. In this preview section, we will show you some preview feature. So not beta feature, but more limited availability features. You will be able to activate the generic REST connector, the semantic modeler, and get that in your dev instance, qual, or production. Again, it's a preview, so it's not feature complete, which means we don't have maybe the latest version, but it's to show you what it's going to be released And in the production version, in the live version, it will be the full feature. So again, if you see this preview in your console, check the feature, contact us, let us know what you think about it. And usually 1 or 2 releases after, you will have a full version by default available for everyone. I'm going to share my screen really quick just to show you 1 or 2 things. So hold on, here. So 1 or 2 features that you have, if I click on the dashboard, what you have to know is that right now, the dashboard will be in full view, in present mode. If you want to edit the dashboard, you can go to the top right, but now by default, when you open the dashboard, it's in present mode, in full screen. You can notice also the new filter bar here. It will be in the next release version. If I click on it, it's brand new. You have list, bottom, exclude, see the news, and so on. I can click, have all my images. And then finally, last thing, you have to know that we have AI vision, which is now integrated with Oracle Analytics. If you click on a picture, you can recognize object. If I click on one picture, for example, that one, I can click on this object, and it's telling me that at 98%, it's an airplane. It's using artificial intelligence. It's available now. So Alex, I give it back to you, and you can move to the next person. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Oh, and I think there was a last slide, Alex, also. I'm going to come back really quick, and you can put it in full screen, please. Okay, this last slide is showing you the new innovation and differentiator for Oracle Analytics. So in augmented consumer, by default now, everyone has the Redwood experience. We have also the in-memory data engine. It's available now. AI Power Analytic Assistant, it's going to be refreshed soon. Auto Insight, which is now by default. You will have also AI Vision Analytic, which is available. I just show you that. We will have more improvement to it. And also openness and composability, Power BI integration. If you are a Power BI user, you can now connect to Oracle Analytics. Semantic modeler, we have the best in-class semantic modeler available now in preview. Composable analytic with Fusion Analytic. Jamie will show that, and Naren also. Data Lakehouse integration and data science integration in the future. So again, thanks for joining. I'm going to stop my camera, and I think, Alex, you can pass it to Jay.
Thanks, Ben. Next slide, Alex. So today I'm going to go over the Fusion Analytics Warehouse, kind of a high level overview. So Fusion Analytics Warehouse is an offering within the Oracle Analytics Suite. And basically, if you have Fusion applications like Fusion ERP, HCM, CX, SCM, or even NetSuite, you can use this product, Fusion Analytics Warehouse, to use the underlying Oracle Analytics platform, but also have a fully managed and automated data pipeline of that information into analytics. So it cuts out that data wrangling aspect of analytics and allows you to view your information that you're capturing in your ERP, HCM, CX, SCM applications and do analyses off of it. And with those analyses, using the fully managed automated data pipeline, we have out-of-the-box pre-built, ready-to-go dashboards, reports, KPIs, self-service analytics. But then also, if you want to do something a little bit more customized, it's also customizable. You can create custom KPIs, metrics, hierarchies coming from your source application, and also data model extensions. So you're not limited to only your Fusion applications. You can layer in data from third-party applications as well. Next slide, please. And Alex, as I talk through, if you don't mind just slowly clicking through a few of the visualizations that I have. But basically with Fusion Analytics Warehouse, like I said earlier, it uses the Oracle Analytics platform to connect to your Fusion Cloud applications data and has pre-built KPIs and metrics. So our offerings right now for Fusion would be ERP Analytics, HCM Analytics, SCM Analytics, and upcoming CX Analytics. So I know Naren will be covering that in the coming few minutes, probably I think towards the end of this session. So with that, I hope that was a great overview of Fusion Analytics Warehouse to give you a high level summary of what it is. But next, I will pass it to Isabel.
Thank you, Jamie. Sorry, I had to unmute. So let's look at some of the great news from the industry analyst perspective. So we are super thrilled to announce that we made it to the IDC MarketScape. So you can see here that we are leaders on this visual, and that we are very well positioned in terms of strategies and product capabilities as well compared to some of the other players. So IDC is one of the top tier analyst firms alongside with Gartner and Forrester. And so this is a huge win for us, but also for you all, as many of you use these analyst reports to decide and justify on your analytics investment. So next slide, please. So this is a win, but this is also adding to the great momentum that Oracle Analytics is having out there in the market, with leadership across the board, with the first wave BARC nucleus, plus the visionary position in the Gartner Magic Quadrants. It also made it to the top 3 in the Constellation shortlist for augmented BI and analytics. So we'd like to thank you all for your continued support and commitments. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you all. Thanks.
Thanks, Isabel. We'll move over to Nawang. Welcome, Nawang.
Thank you, Alex. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Nawang Gamso, and I'm a product manager from the product strategy team. I'm very excited to share. Sorry, forgot my video. But yeah, I'm very excited to share this new program that the technical enablement team has for our customers and partners. Some of you may have heard about LiveLab Sprints, but for those that haven't, LiveLab Sprints is a program to capture technical questions and answers for customers and partners as an analytics knowledge base. So there are short technical articles that answer a specific question, which mimics the way that we search for and learn new information. So to help you understand what I mean by this, I want to share a quick analogy. So let's say that you just bought a new Tesla and you don't know how to open the glove box compartment. So the first thing that you'll do is explore the settings, but if you still can't figure it out, the next best step is you'll go on Google or YouTube and type, "How do I open the glove box compartment in a Tesla?" And immediately after you hit enter, you'll be presented with how-to articles and videos with specific steps that teach you how to open the glove box compartment. So this is how most of us learn in this age of information. And that same learning experience is what we want to bring to our customers and partners with the Analytics LiveLab Sprints. So going back to sprints, currently we have 36 analytics sprints published, 16 of which are for FBW and 20 for OAC. And our cadence is to publish 2 sprints each week with a goal of 100 by the end of the fiscal year. So we've had a lot of collaborators. We've had people from SEs, analytics enablement, and soon we'll have SEAL contribute to authoring some of these articles. We've also been sourcing questions from a number of avenues, from customer training workshops, from tech talks, coffee talks, SEs, and product management to cover our bases, but also to make it a community effort. So now I'm going to switch over to a short demo to kind of show you how to get to our sprints. So this is a homepage for LiveLabs. We have workshops over here for different users. If you scroll all the way down, there are 2 ways to get to sprints. You can click on analytics or sprints. I'm going to go ahead and click analytics since that's the way I prefer. And once we're here, we can scroll down to workshop type and select sprints. And this right here is our library of published sprints. So for example, if I click on how do I change the data refresh schedule in FAW, we'll go into the sprint article itself, and immediately you see that this particular sprint has a video. Our sprints don't require videos, but we are currently in the process of creating more videos to supplement these articles. But there are two different mediums that you can consume the content. So you could either watch the short video and follow along the steps, or you can read the article, which has very specific and clear steps about all the different actions you need to take, as well as screenshots that highlight the different actions. So all the information that you need to be able to complete the sprint is embedded within the article itself. So now let's say that you were able to complete the sprint following either one of these steps, and you're able to change the data refresh schedule. The next thing that you're probably wondering is, you want to verify that the data refresh has been completed. So to do that, if you come to our left side menu, we have a section for related sprints. And as you can see, we have a sprint article published about how to verify the data refresh. So if you click on that, it'll take you to this sprint about verifying. And the format is the same with all the information you need, as well as the application role that's required, and steps, as well as screenshots with highlights on the actions. So that, in a nutshell, is our Analytics LiveLab Sprints initiative. If you're not able to find answers to a question that you have, please submit those questions or topics to me, and I'm more than happy to consider them for our future sprints. So with that, I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Nawang. And maybe you can put that link to the live labs in the chat so people can access that and take a look at some of that information. It's some really good articles, really digestible and easy to consume quickly.
Will do.
Thank you. Let's move over to Barry now. Hey, Barry, welcome back.
Hi, yeah, Barry Mostert, Senior Director for Data and Analytics for Product Marketing. And I'm going to share my screen and then I'll get going. All right, so this is RAC, and I usually show some of the kind of things that you might not have known that was actually there. And some of you who come regularly have seen some of these things, but I'm still hoping that you can pick up a tip or two here and there that you may not have seen. But starting here in the home page, this is where you kind of land when you log in. The natural language query is something that we should always think about using, getting the answers to the information you need quickly and fast. And you can just type in your questions here, like I'd like to look at revenue and discount by customer segment and product type, as I've done in the past. And you kind of just search and it gives you a on-the-fly dashboard as the machine constructs the best visualizations for this set of data. And this is usually where I stop, but I wanted to show you today that you can extend that and say, well, look, here's some of the questions that came up in the previous demos. And I said, yeah, you can actually start to add on to that and say, I want to see that in a bar chart. And you just keep typing it on and you'll see it'll now convert everything to bar charts. If you wanted to do that, I mean, I could do it in a pie chart too. And there's a whole bunch of things, you could write that up for any of the different visualizations that are available. It doesn't mean they're going to look cool, but you can do it. And the other question that came up as well is, well, I want to put in, you don't have to just query. You can say, I can set filters. So in this particular data set, there's a bunch of demographics, including active singles. So if I wanted to say for active singles, now I'm actually referring to values within a particular column. And here you can see that we have a very similar kind of result set from before, but you can see that all of the different visualizations are now focused on active singles. So you do have quite a lot of control to quickly get the information you want right there and then to start looking at how we do things. The next thing I wanted to show you is something here talking about how do we get to take your analytics. Once you've built your story, you found your information, you got the insights, how do you take that on to the stakeholders? So right here, I'll tell you about the traditional process and I'll show you how it could be done better. But here we build our projects. I have multiple canvases. This is like a cost management analytics. We're trying to investigate some concerns around OpEx. And you can see this is live. You sit here in the tool, you construct your things. I'm directly connected to my travel and expenses and financial data right here on the left. You build your things. But the problem that then happens is once you've created your canvases, traditionally you say, well, I want this chart in my report, and I'm going to do my report to the stakeholders in PowerPoint. Well, then what happens is everybody goes to export, or you go to screenshot this, and then you cut and paste into a Word document or into an email. Well, or into a PowerPoint is most likely. What we want to do is switch to a story mode. So what we often don't look at too much is this present option. So I switch to present mode. And in present mode, I can see all the canvases I constructed before in my project here down on the left. And I don't have to bring them all in. I can bring the ones that hit the critical value, especially when you're speaking to stakeholders. You want to focus in on the value points, not the working sections, if you know what I mean. So I bring in a few here, and it's easy enough to say, okay, well, if I want to bring in Canvas 5, I just drag and drop it in here, and I've got my 4 kind of slides to show in my presentation. The next thing, once I'm ready, I'm in the actual boardroom or I'm on a Zoom with the stakeholders. I just hit that little play button in the top right-hand corner. And as you can see, then the whole kind of interface changes now into what's much more presentation-friendly kind of format. And down the bottom here, you can actually see the 4 different slides I've selected. Now you can see that these charts have actually refreshed live. So if you've done your workshop and you've done your work and you've got it all set up and your meeting's on next Friday, well, when you go to that meeting, your data is going to still be exactly live to that time. You don't have to go and recut and paste everything because data changed. And then as I tell my story, I can see here that OpEx seems to be trending up, and that's causing issues. So in my presentation, I'm now switching between my charts. I'm telling my story. I can have narratives in here. I can see there's a kind of an odd spike here in out of policy travel and expenses. Looks like people are spending a lot of money on hotels that they shouldn't have done. And I can make that point to my stakeholders. I switch to my next slide, and I can see over here, there's a spike. Somehow overtime is rised. And over here, the hotels, which is the other point we made. And we come to our final slide. And without having to ever cut and paste to PowerPoint, I can come in and start the narrative and say, well, here's an interesting thing. We had a lot of people in our call centers leave. Call centers here have departed from attrition, from a work-life balance problem. They found higher money elsewhere. But what that's effect has had is that it's caused us to keep the people we already retained for longer hours, meaning our overtime has increased. And that's kind of where the OpEx went. But here I've gone from working and creating a sample, building the workshop project, and then coming through and actually presenting my results, never having to change tools. My data is always connected, no cut and paste exercises, none of that frustration. So that's kind of something you can think about when you're creating your analytics projects. And then just some other kind of art of the possible, what could be done. This one's kind of cool. We have the ability to integrate with graph objects in here. You can actually bring in any kind of D3 graphic visualization. We have one of the biggest libraries of visualizations available, and you can see those on the available charts over here. You can see what we have, and there's a whole bunch. But if you have something specific, bring those in with D3, you can add them in. And over here, I can use a graphic as a filter. So as I select those particular containers on the ship, I can see a manifest of those containers only and the costs associated with us charging them out. And at this point, everything is still live. I can drill down into these particular ones. I can see here's this actual manifest, the items in the container, if I wanted to drill into what's actually in that thing real time. And then I can also use the map, of course, as a filter itself. So I'm going to just kind of undo the filter I had from my map. And then the next thing I'm going to do is say, show me everything that's coming in and out of Egypt. I just have to click on Egypt. And the integration between these charts is not something somebody had to go in and code. I didn't have to right click when I was creating the project and manually connect any of these. All of this is done intrinsically by default. And here I can see all the ship routes that are coming in from Egypt. And the last one I'm going to show you today is this one on the auto industry. This one is, again, a bunch of live visualizations, and they're live. I can prove it by clicking on these, and you can see that they're interactive. I can click on and change them around. I can actually drill into various different parts if I want. get everything ready. And then when you want to publish your infographic, again, I always show this, you can come to the export and we do file export and we can choose from PowerPoint, PDF, and PowerPoint is here. So if you really do have to go to PowerPoint, perfectly you can export that PowerPoint. And what I'm actually going to show is the PDF. So once you go to share the PDF, I have my pre-built one right here. And this is Acrobat. And you can see now I'm in Adobe. I have my PowerPoint. It's obviously static now, but it's ready to be sent out on my email list or into my website. So very cool. They look very similar indeed. The export is very like for like. So you're not going to lose any fidelity in that transformation. And that is all I'm going to present for you today. Next time I'll do something different. And I'm handing it back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Barry. That was a great overview. And we'll move forward here to a mobile demo with Jacques. Welcome, Jacques. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
All right. Can you see my iPhone here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So today I'm actually doing a really simple demo. It's almost, I was joking with folks, it's the undemo. And what I'm really here to show you is a major improvement. In fact, our number one request was, how can I simplify my users just getting access to OAC on their mobile device? Historically, for a whole bunch of infrastructure reasons that I don't want to bore you with, there was an administrator task required for all your OAC instances in order for your community or user community to be able to access their analytic content with the mobile app. So we've since worked on what we call the app onboarding process. And so I just wanted to walk you through how simple it is now to install and access your OAC instance. So you can just go to the App Store, Android, iOS, look up Oracle Analytics. The app should come up right there. Just install it again, like any other app. I know this is tedious, but I'm just trying to walk you through how simple we've made it for the average consumer. So I'm going to go ahead, open the analytic app. Here I go, accept the little terms of service. And I've gotten my buffer, just my URL to my analytic instance. So you can go to your home page, just copy the URL, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste it. And you don't even have to worry about anything to the right of the .com. And then it walks you through your company's SSO flow if you have one. If you don't, it'll just walk you through the basic auth steps. In our instance, this is an Oracle approved instance. I'm going to walk through the authentication process that we have, our two-factor authentication, 669. And just like that now, your users can download the app and hit the same URL they've always hit, and then they'll be presented with the mobile app as it is today. I will be back in a future OA Live soon to walk you through the great new app that we're actively working on. It's a couple of months away, maybe 6 weeks away. I don't want to give a date. But the point here is that you can now access, this is GA on the App Store without creating, for those of you who've tried to access it historically, you had to create this thing we called the magic URL. Now you don't need to do that. And then instantly all your content's available. You can use all the filters like you've always expected to, and change your canvases and all that good stuff. So that's it. It's a super simple demo to show you how straightforward it is. And we really hope this will dramatically increase the user adoption for the mobile app for your Oracle instances. So that's it. I'm going to hand it back over to you, Alex.
And one thing for all the participants and attendees, if you like the Oracle Analytics app, please put 5 stars on the Apple Store, on Google Store. We love that, and Jacques will be pumped with that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, take a second look at that now that Jack did such a great job updating it. Leave us a review. Let us know what you think.
And we'll be back soon to demo a really cool update to the app, but I don't want to spill the beans just yet.
Yep, so wait till next month. Jacques will be back with a big update. Let's take a look at automated insights. We have some updates coming in the next few months here. Philippe, welcome, and let us know what you're going to be showing for us this month.
Thank you, Alex. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me fine?
Sure can.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, you need to, yeah. Here we go. So thank you very much, Alex, Ben, and your team for having us on these calls. This is really exciting. It's really interesting for us, and I am pretty enthusiastic about what I'm going to show you. It's a very simple demo as well, I have to confess, but this is about automated insights. So you may have seen in the past, not so long ago, actually in July, we turned on the feature that's called automated insights. And so here is my data set on OAC. So my data set has sales data, 2 Excel files, they're there. One is sales data, the other one is geographical information, they're joined. So again, 2 Excel files, and I'm just going to create a workbook here. And when I create a workbook, by default, the system is already investigating into my data and offering a series of insights that it was able to find into my data. So this is what we call automated insights, and it's telling me about what it found remarkable in this data set by selecting some columns and just showing me the visualization. So this is trending of dimensions. So this is telling me about profit here and different order priorities, and one of them is sticking out. And if I click on the little plus icon, I can grab this visualization and make it be in my canvas, and then it's mine, right? And if I scroll down, the beauty is that we have a lot of these visualizations. Here is profit by record seasonality. So why is it there? Because the system figured that there is something spiking out here in 1 month, which could be of interest to me. And yes, that's interesting. Why is our profit so high in November, right? So that's something I may be interested in. So let me grab that viz, and I can carry on here with different insights that the system has found for me on this data set. And so far, I didn't have to do anything. This is something that came in front of me with this data set or any data set that I have uploaded. And maybe Ben has uploaded this data set, and I will see also some of that inside. And I can simply do my pick and choose here which of these visualization. Here's a ratio of discount by profit. Here is an average profit by record, broken down by product categories. Here's a forecast of discount. Okay, I got plenty, and here's a forecast of profit, plenty of these different vises, right? And of course, I just collapse this and I'm done with my vises, and now I can go in my canvas and just, let me turn this off, click on the bulb, and just take ownership of this, look at how they're being built, what calculations are being used, maybe use them as filter and so on. But maybe this is interesting, but it's showing me some columns or insights about columns that are not the one that I'm the most interested with. So here is a feature that is going to come next month in OAC, so in November actually, sorry, that enhances this capability. So the system still provides me with everything here, but it gives me a little button here about settings. And what that button lets me do is to say, we have found for you in your data set 2 measures that we think are showing some insights that are interesting or contrasted or show some remarkable information. But I would like to override this. I'm not interested with the discount. I'm not interested with profit. I'm interested with sales. And I could select up to 3, but I'm going to stick to sales for a minute. And this is telling me that, we picked these columns and showed you insights with these columns, but we leave you the ability to override what we picked. So I'm just going to leave order date here for time, for small sized attributes, meaning attributes that have a low cardinality, attributes that don't have hundreds of values. Okay, so this is what the system found: priority, customer segment, customer category as being the interesting one, the most interesting ones, but it kind of did it based on AI. I'm not interested in product category, nor am I in auto priority, but I want to see something about ship mode. And I can override this list. Here are medium-sized attributes, so attributes that have a little bit more value, something like 200, 300 different values. So obviously that will help, that will be shown in a viz that is of a specific type. I don't really want city, I would like country. So I have just overridden that selection with what it is that I am interested myself in, and I'm just going to hit apply. And what's happening now is that the AI is computing, and in a few seconds, the system will provide me with, okay, given the columns that you've just selected, here are the visas that we're seeing that we think may make sense to you. Like here now, I'm seeing ship mode, and number of rows are really high for regular hair. This is sales split, sales mix, right? So higher delivery truck when the sales are high, and higher regular hair when the sales volume is low. So let me pick this, and if I keep scrolling down again, I can now just add these visas. Here's delivery truck. So here's the delivery ship mode and the customer segment, which is what I've asked for. And this is number of records, and this is forecast of sales. Why not? I'm interested. This is top 10 countries by sales, and on like this. So what I've just done is I've forced this intelligence to provide me with what it found remarkable, not with its own choice of columns in my data set, but really with what is of interest to me in my own data set. So here's a monthly seasonality of sales by record. That's interesting. We may see some of the same shape as what we showed before, because sales and profit obviously look alike. But I can do my, and obviously I can iterate with this as many times as I want. Now I may be interested in doing this again, but something like shipping cost, and maybe change this to order priority. And basically, I'm asking the system to build the visas for me and rank them with the ones that it finds have the most interesting insights. And all I have is to pick and choose. And once I'm done with this, I'm going to be, here we go. So let's pick one of these guys here. Shipping costs, or top countries by shipping costs, just to have one. Now I have all built this into my own cache. So I'm going to close that panel here. And this is my dashboard. Now I could have done this over multiple canvases, but of course now here I can try to understand when I click on, let's use this one as a, or maybe, yeah, let's use this one as a filter, for instance. And what happens if I only look at ship mode, delivery truck in that decile? The entire dashboard is going to show me cost and ship cost and revenue based on that filtering. And I create an error in my forecast because I'm mixing different calculations here. But the shape clearly changed because it. So what I'm trying to say is that I built my own dashboard here, and I can go and simply use, change it, modify it, and it took me less than 5 minutes to get from 0 with my data set to pretty interesting insights. That is a very good jump start for me, right? This trending one that sticks out, this forecast one, this monthly seasonality, this mix information, the top end showing me the cost and the sales. So we can see different ranking here. This is all interesting. Now, of course, the system also provides me with the calculations that are necessary for these reports. And in the calculations, I can go and edit and change and adjust all of this. Obviously, this is all mine, and I can save it and basically leverage my dashboard to share it with you, maybe. So that's a fast forward feature and the enhancement that we will ship in November for it. So that was my part. Hopefully you like it. I'm excited with it, and thanks for your interest, and looking forward to talking to you further. Thanks, Alex.
Let me just get my screen back ready to share. All right, thanks, Philippe. And if you missed the AI vision demo that Philippe did last month, you can find that on the Oracle Analytics YouTube page. We had last month some other automated insights demos from Philippe on other OA lives from months before. I will put that link in the chat so you can check those out. But let's move forward with a Fusion Analytics warehouse. We're going to have a CX demo by Naren.
Thank you, Alex. It was a wonderful demo by Jack and Philip. So let's start with Fusion Analytics for CX. Let me share my slide. Okay, so basically I'll start with, I think, some questions around what is Fusion Analytics Warehouse. So a quick slide on what is Fusion Analytics Warehouse. It basically includes OAC, so all the cool features that we are seeing today is part of the product, but also it has the notion of moving data from the backend Fusion application. So we have a cloud native data pipeline that connects to your backend system, automatically moves the data, keeps in sync, creates a data model in the data warehouse. Then we'll package the semantic model on top of it and a lot of package content for different functional areas and personas. So today we'll talk about CX. And then before I just jump into the demo, I'll talk about why we designed the product, right? So think of our product as more like a revenue intelligence product, where if you go to any enterprise customers, if you look at their revenue waterfall, basically they start by creating leads, they go into the sales system, you run a sales cycle, create opportunities, then you have sort of quoting happening, so mini cycle over there, you create a contract, you basically create order in supply chain, and then you create invoices in ERP, right? And then our customers use multiple systems to run this entire process. So as you can imagine, I think process integration and data integration is a big thing for a lot of our customers, pretty much every customer I talk to, right? So the idea is that we want to connect all the systems in one from a data perspective, so you can have a unified front office, mid office, and back office together. And you have one sort of integrated model across sales, marketing, subscription, and ERP as well. And I'll kind of show a quick demo as well. So bottom line, you kind of have the entire revenue cycle. You can learn from your revenues to grow your revenue. So let me do a quick demo of the product. You'll start with the homepage of Fusion Analytics Warehouse. So people who are familiar with this product will probably kind of be aware of the product. But typically this is the homepage of the product. There will be multiple what we call DAX or dashboards. So these are all built on top of OAC. This is content that is out of the box from Oracle. And this is very specific to a functional area and a role, as I mentioned earlier. So from a CX perspective, you can look at your entire pipeline in a granular level. This is a live demo, so it's loading. So this is been ability to look at your entire sales pipeline. So you can look at white spaces. There is win-loss analysis built into the product as well. So you can try to figure out, any kind of deals that you might need help. And there is also a notion of campaign overview where you can combine sales and marketing together as well. So let me just show the product itself real quickly. There is a notion of a KPI, which is a first-class object in the system. It has a lot of metadata associated with it in terms of.
Naren, just a quick thing. Some people are requesting if you can put it in full screen and maybe zoom a little bit on the browser.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is it better?
Way better, I believe, yes.
Yeah, so coming back to this, the KPI is the first-class object in the system with a lot of metadata associated with it. So imagine if you're a chief revenue officer or if you're a VP of sales or director of sales, all of these KPIs are available to you out of the box. And then since we have this data model behind it, we can go really, really deep into it. So essentially the workflow should be, hey, I look at my state of the business, but I want to drill down and find out what might be happening over here. So this is the OAC canvas that I think you guys probably might be familiar with it, but you can basically, so for example, I have problems with losses in this Q4, I say keep selected. So all the charts on this canvas will be focused on that. You can go drill deeper and deeper and deeper into it. I'm losing a lot at this stage, for example. I want to figure out why am I losing. Maybe it's quite possible I might have a notion of some salespeople using a lot of deals, right? So because of the comprehensive model, you can go as deep as you want into to find the root cause over here. So that's the power of the system. And the second power of the system is being ability to combine or blend data from different functional areas. So in this quick demo, I think I'll show that you're able to combine sales and marketing together. I'm looking at, for example, if I'm a CMO, I'm looking at all my campaigns, but more importantly, what is the ROI of these campaigns? How much pipeline am I influencing? How am I impacting the pipeline? So we have brought sales, marketing, and finance data into one semantic model. So I'm able to look at my contribution from a revenue perspective, from pipeline influence perspective, and what is the cost available to me. So this allows me to compare different campaigns. So if you're running multiple campaigns, for each campaign, you can figure out how many leads were generated, what are the cost per leads, how many opportunities, cost per opportunity, and so on and so forth. So basically, you want to drive the ROI. So you can compare different campaigns together, and this is like gold for marketing professionals being able to do that. And not only that, since we bring data from different systems in one place, you can also look at different channels that you're using, which channel is working. So for example, this is one channel for us, the webinar we're doing, right? How effective it is. Sub-channels, you can look at keywords as well. And then when you send marketing emails, there are certain forms you click into and stuff like that, or blogs. So you can look at effectiveness at a very granular level. So that's the notion of the product. I think I'll just quickly talk about the notion of being able to, bring data together, front office, back office. I think this must be known to some of you who are familiar with Fusion Analytics Warehouse. But the way we have built the product is that if you go into a customer, if they have, for example, ERP and they buy Fusion ERP Analytics, we will in this instance we'll have ERP data coming. If they buy CX or if they buy HCM or a supply chain, in the same instance we'll bring the data into the same warehouse and the same semantic model. So for example, in this instance, I have CX data coming in. I have all the data from an opportunity activity perspective in this system. But not only that, in the same system, I have the ERP data as well. So I have all the finance data in one place as well. So this is a big thing for our customers. They struggle if they have, for example, Fusion ERP or EBS or JD Edwards. Combining with CX data is the most often request in terms of looking at actuals and things like that. Now what does it mean? I'll do a quick demo how to show what does it mean for our customers. So since we have all this data, right, and that's the power of this. This is well organized, well structured data. You don't have to worry about how do I connect to the end system, what APIs to use, what ETL to use, but being able to sort of just use this data itself. So in this project that I have, I was able to combine my sales data with finance data, and then you can create this sample workbooks very easily. So for example, in this, I'm looking at CX with account receivables data, and you can build something like this. So, on the top chart, I'm looking at the opportunity. In the middle, this is the transaction amount of the account receivable. So the same customer is open opportunity, but how much do they owe us, for example, what is outstanding to the customer? This is the booked revenue in the ERP system. So I'm looking at which products are they buying. So you kind of get a sense of it. You have the invoice history, you have sent the invoices, how they're responding to you, and you can look at open opportunities by time frame they have placed. So this is very powerful because you can look at a customer from a holistic perspective. So that's all I have from a demo perspective. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Naren. And I think we have time. Brett, are you still good to share?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna have a quick little extra demo here from Brett. So Brett, I'll let you share your screen.
Okay, let me know if it comes up. Are you
Looks
guys
good.
okay? So it's a little just mini demo. As you know, we already have a data set caching that you can use for maybe you have a system that's a little bit slower, or say you start using the new REST APIs to get data. Just one note, I often use this view, just using the homepage to look at my data sets. Just a quick reminder, you can go look at a data set and see the history of a data set, whether it's been run by a schedule or whether it's been run manually. You can also look at the logs to kind of see how the schedule is going, see if something happened. That's something that not a lot of people have been using, but we'll let you know. You can look at a bigger one. Some of these data sets might be larger. So like this example data set is, 54 million rows, so a little bit bigger data set that was run on a schedule. And of course, you can use the jobs-ish system. You can create schedules, run them on a regular basis. Like these are set up. You can go look at active jobs that are running. But what we want to talk about today is that we have some new APIs. Some you probably have already started using for snapshots. This is one that will be going to out of preview shortly, but you can use the snapshot APIs to go create snapshots from your system for this is more of an administration tool. But using that similar pattern, we have a new API that's available, and I'll put the link in the chat. This is for data set reload action. So imagine you have a scenario where you have some separate ETL process, say with ODI or something like that. It's processing data that you want to then reload into a data set. You can use this API to trigger the reload action. It basically works the same as, it has the same behavior as if you clicked reload on the data set like this. So it's doing the same thing that the human would do. And then you can check the response of that. So you'll get an immediate response, and then you use the work request pattern to go look at the status of that data set. So there's some examples in the documentation here. So that's an example of something that we've made available now. And in a few months, there'll also be a preview of this for data flows, which you know is something that people are actively waiting for. So try this one out and check out how you can do a data set reload with the APIs. That's it.
Thanks, Brett. That was really great to see that. And oops, let me just share my screen back. All right. So we're going to move over to the Q&A portion of this. Some questions have already been answered in the chat, but I do believe we still have some on. Oracle team, if you want to put your camera on, that would be great. Let's see which ones we have here. Okay. And Oracle folks, if I read something and it sounds like that's for you, go ahead and jump in. We'll go with the first one here. Where would the recorded session for this as well as past be available for the team to leverage on learning and taking away the best of features to be implemented into their respective process? So, oh, go ahead.
It's for Barry, that one, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So a lot of the projects that I show, particularly the ones that I show, are publicly available on the platform. But if you wanted to get those projects, take them, download them, and take them into your own instance so you can learn from them, that's perfectly fine. The data is actually fully public, but you cannot export them yourselves from the public instances because of the lockdown nature. So what you'll just need to do is email somebody like Philippe or me or Ben or Alex, and then we'll be connected you to the right people, and then we can send you the source files, and you can just upload those into your own instance and learn from them and get some best practice ideas.
Thanks, Barry. Next one, will Auto Insights work for database data sources?
Hey, I can take this one, Alex. And Joel, nice to hear from you. So yes, it works for any data source at this point, except for data for multidimensional data sources, so SPACE and EPM, and not yet for subject areas, but it obviously does work for database data sources and obviously file-based data sources.
Thank you. Next one we have here, does analytics work for Oracle Transportation Management?
And I will take that one. So Oracle Transportation Management is part of the Fusion SCM suite. So that is on the Fusion Analytics roadmap for SCM. But the currently extensibility framework can be used today. So if you're looking for that within Fusion Analytics, TBD on the roadmap, but you can extend to it manually if you don't want to wait for the managed data pipeline.
Thanks, Jamie. Next one. So can the auto insights settings be incorporated in OAS along with OAC as a special version for OAS rather than waiting for next year's version release for OAS?
Yes, this is Philippe. So I'm asking the same question to the development team. And we're not so far from next year. So Ashok, so there's probably little chance that a specific patch is being created for OAS, but I'll take your question and I'll bring it up still further in the development group. Thanks.
All right, next one for Brett. When will the APIs to take snapshots will be available?
Yeah, the APIs are available right now. You can use them in their preview state. The main reason we put them in preview is we may need to make some changes to the API, but it's fully supported, something you can use, and you can create an SR. And if you have an issue, and shortly those will be made available. So we'll definitely announce in this forum when they're generally available. And I can also answer the data model API question. We don't have a direct API for data models at the moment. That's something we're looking at for more ways you can do authoring type of experiences through APIs. However, you can use Semantic Modeler today, and that's something you should look at. Look at the SMML spec, and you can write to the JSON for SMML directly, and that's probably more powerful, honestly, because then you can create a full subject area.
The last one for Philippe to finish. For Jack, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Oh, the French, we're all the same. Jacques, Philippe, Ben. Is the mobile app compatible for all the OAC visualizations? One of the exciting things that I'm going to demo to you, hopefully next month, but very soon, will be the update that we're making to the mobile app, where we have a new, what we call a hybrid canvas, where for those visualizations that we don't natively support with the iOS framework or the Android framework, we will still render appropriately on the mobile device. That includes even crazy things like the custom plugins. So if you've created a custom viz on your own, it would actually render in the mobile device, but that is the next major update, which will be coming, I'll say, in the fall, which you should start seeing demoed. Actually, if you're at the Gartner Summit or the Gartner Data Conference this week in Orlando, I'll probably break it out and show it at the booth. So it's right around the corner. But for now, today, the GA app that you downloaded from the App Store today, for those visualizations that it can't render natively, it gives you an option to fall back as a table. So at least you will see the data, not necessarily like the Sankey diagram, or it'll give you the option to open it in a mobile web HTML5 view on your mobile device.
All right, and that's all the time we have for questions today. Thanks everyone for joining us on this month. Thank you to the Oracle people. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you for being patient with us while we switch to Cloud Customer Connect. It will be on Cloud Customer Connect for September's OA Live as well. So we look forward to seeing you there and expect an email recap tomorrow. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.